Matthew Continetti, editor-in-chief of the Washington Free Beacon, joins me now. All right, Matthew, so Democrats shot down the latest offer by President Trump, even before he spoke, by the way. So Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi says she wants the government to reopen even before the immigration talks continue. So how do you think this whole shutdown is playing out in terms of public opinion?
Well, to date, the public seems to have blamed the president more for the shutdown, as well as some blame to the congressional Democrats. But now that President Trump has come out with an affirmative offer and to say, okay, I will compromise, I want money for the wall, but I'm also willing to legalize the dreamers who were brought here as children, that kind of puts the Democrats in a difficult position. And I've noticed, despite the Democratic leadership dismissing Trump's offer out of hand, if you look at, say, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, or even some of the House freshmen who were elected last year, they want to solve problems. And so I think Trump is splitting, maybe the beginning of a split between some of the Democratic rank and file and the Democratic leadership.
Yeah, a lot of their constituents, of course, out of jobs and things like that. The president's proposal puts pressure on Democrats, of course, to compromise, but he's also gotten some pushback from conservatives, especially when it comes to the issue of DACA, and some people call it amnesty. I mean, how do you think this is going to play out with Republicans? Will some actually defect from President Trump as a result of this talk?
It's possible that one or two might vote against this compromise. I think it'd be very hard for the bulk of Republicans to vote against it. The fact is that some type of earned legalization for the Dreamers, maybe even that doesn't result in citizenship, but just a legal permanent residency in the United States, is very popular among people of both parties. And so if you were able to tie that with border wall funding, I think that's a compromise a lot of Republicans and some Democrats would welcome.
Okay. I want to switch gears here and talk about the BuzzFeed report that President Trump directed his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to lie to Congress about the timing of talks on a proposed Trump project in Russia. Now, as you know, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's office has refuted the story. President Trump has called the piece a disgrace to journalism. What do you think this does to BuzzFeed's credibility moving forward, or any media organization that tackles this kind of story?
Well, I think it damages the media's credibility. BuzzFeed, of course, is standing by the story, which is quite unusual because you have this huge discrepancy between what the special counsel's office is saying and what BuzzFeed.com is saying. Of course, all of us are waiting for that Mueller report, you know, and that's what's going to matter. I think Washington is kind of driving itself crazy in anticipation. And so you're able to cite these sources who are telling you what they saw. Right, yeah. And you run with it. As an editor, I would want to see the documents, right? I wouldn't be so willing to rely on sources who are saying, well, I've heard this or I've seen this.
Okay. One other, switching gears again, I want to turn to Friday's March for Life and ask you about that, because the mainstream media's coverage, or lack thereof, because according to the Media Research Center, between last Wednesday morning and Saturday evening, the morning and evening newscasts of the main networks ABC, CBS, and NBC collectively covered the March for Life for 58 seconds, and then the Women's March for 14 minutes and 26 seconds. So what do you think this says about the mainstream media's bias in terms of the pro-life message?
Well, I think it says there is bias, and it's massive, and the mainstream media ignores the pro-life cause and devotes very little attention to it, and this puts pro-life voters and activists in a difficult position, and so they have to find ways to make their case directly to the public through social media and organization. Well, the one thing that you always see from the March for Life that's always inspiring is the young people that attend, and that's, I think, a sign of hope.
Okay, very good. Matthew Continetti, editor-in-chief of the Washington Free Beacon, thanks so much for your analysis.
Thank you.